We are here. I know y'all are not used to seeing me like this, but my channel is about the crown. Whether I'm making hats for the crown, whether I'm talking about hair because I am a licensed cosmetologist, I have my own hair shop, and I have my own hat shop. So I'm like, I talk about hats all the time, and I really don't get into hair as much as I should. But I am here to show you today how to color your hair at home. And specifically today, it's going to be about what happens when you don't have gloves, how not to get messy at all. And I'm using black permanent hair dye, and we are not going to get messy at all. Okay, so let's get into it. What I'm going to do first is I'm just going to oil my hairline. This is really going to ensure that when it's time to take that permanent color off around my hairline, that I don't have a hard time and I don't have a black ring around my hairline. You know I color my hair, but everybody doesn't have to know I color my hair. Or color my grays, I should say. So I'm actually just using Palmer's coconut oil, but their facial oil, their coconut hydrate facial oil, it's light. I don't like using anything too heavy around the hairline because you don't want to create too much of a barrier. So you definitely want something light. Okay, so now we're going to mix our color. I'm an Aveda Concept Stylist, so I use Aveda Color. This is their Permanent 1C, and on the back of it, you see up there it says 1:1. That means that you mix equal parts color with equal parts developer. So if I'm using 40 grams of this color, I'm going to use 40 grams of developer. If it says 1:2, that means you use 1 part color, 2 parts developer. So here on the side, they have marked for me how much is in here. So the first marker is 20 grams, the middle marker is 40. So I'm going to do half a tube because I'm only doing my roots. I don't need a full tube. And I'm not going to pull the color through to my ends. And we'll talk about why you shouldn't do that with permanent color and what you should do instead. Okay? So, where my gray hair is at? My gray hair, my gray haired viewers at? Y'all out there? Okay. Now this is important. Whenever you have developer or anything liquid, you want to shake it up because what happens is this developer, when it sits, it settles. So what is at the top? It's water. So you want to make sure you shake up your developer. Doesn't have to be too much, too vigorously, just enough to get everything going. Bring all those ingredients to the top. Now this is something that I've learned on my own, okay? I talk about everything in grams, okay? So I mix 40 grams in my bowl. I'm gonna do 40 grams of my developer. I'm gonna talk about why I chose 20 in a minute. Excuse me. This top holds about 10 grams of color. 10 grams of liquid, the developer. So I'm gonna do 4 capfuls of this. And you can test your own caps that you have at home to make sure that's the case for you. That way you don't have to always measure. You'll just know how many capfuls to do. And now I'm on my 4th one. Okay, cheers. Okay, now I chose 20 volume. Most people do 10 volume or even 5 volume when they use a 1. because their thought process is, I want to deposit. It's a color that's going darker. I don't want any lift to my color. Well, 20 volume is not going to lift black. What it's going to do is it's going to swell up your follicle so that the color penetrates deeper, okay? And the color lasts longer. If I were to use a 10 or a 5 volume, it will start to, I would see more fadage than I would see grow out. And for me, I choose permanent because my hair doesn't grow as quickly. So it lasts longer for me. I have some clients who go, it barely lasts. It barely lasts, 2-3 weeks. Well, they have a faster rate of hair growth. Okay. So this is also a key. Now, you don't want to just start mixing because you get messy everywhere. This is all about being neat with your application. You start mixing in the middle, working outward. Start mixing in the middle, working outward. And that way you don't splash any color or developer around. It's a small tip, but trust me, if we're doing this, we're not doing it to be messy and then have a big cleanup afterwards. Why? Okay. So now that we are nice and creamy, okay. Let's see, and we have on our base, what I have done, just taking my finger and making a part, going straight back. I'm just going to do 2 parts here. I'm not going to make 4 quadrants. And if you notice, my part looks a little wide, right? And you may be saying, oh, for those who have gray hair against black or dark hair dye, you may say, oh, my part is getting wider. A lot of times, it doesn't mean your part is necessarily getting wider. It's just that it's transparent. And the white, the gray hair makes it look like the part is getting wider because it's transparent. It's making this part more transparent and therefore looking wider. My part will look a little bit smaller after I do my hair color dye. All right, so now we're going to go in and we're going to apply it to both sides at one time. Now, what I like to do, especially in the front, I like to do what I call spackle. You lay the color on and you don't do too many sweeps. Not too many. I see some people sweeping for days. What happens when you do too many sweeps is you fan out the color, you thin out the color. With gray hair, you want it to definitely penetrate, and you don't want to fan it out or thin out the color too much. Okay, so I'm going to start in the front because if I start in the front, this is what's going to this is what I'm going to see most of. I call the front, this is a money piece right here, the front. It's what I see when I look in the mirror. How often, you can leave in the comments, how often do you do your root touch-ups, root cover-ups? Honestly, I did When was the last time I did mine? Mine's had to have been 3 months ago. Yeah. For me, when I see a little bit of gray or white hair, it doesn't bother me as much. You know, I have my clients ask me all the time, how often should I come back and get my grays covered? Honestly, I let them know it's really about what your eye preference is, what you can stand. You know, you have to love yourself and smile at yourself when you look in the mirror. You know, if after a month you're not smiling at yourself in the mirror and you're going, ooh, then get it done. But if you're like, hey, a little bit of this gray looks a little cute, it's not hurting nobody, then great. Do it until you can't stand it anymore, or if it becomes an eyesore to you. Because I always tell my clients, I say, basically, the less you do color, the better. Still a chemical, you know, you don't want to overdo it too much. Less is more. Less is better, I should say. Less is healthier. That's what I should say. I have a client who she's the GOAT. I call her the GOAT of transitional color. She knows who she is if she's watching this. Because she will change her color. She'll go from blonde to red to burgundy to apricot. I mean, and then most recently she did berry. If you go on my Instagram page, you'll see her. And, ooh, honey. But my point with that is she only does it once a year. So it's not like after 3 or 4 months, she's like, I want to change it again. You know, she waits the right amount of time to do her major color changes. And I love that. And let me tell you, when you watch that video, her hair is moving, bouncing, behaving, it's shiny. You'll be like, what? You know? And so her hair and we condition it at every step. We condition it before we color, during color, after color. It makes a difference. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. My hair is touching a little bit of the color, but it's not going to be like immersed in black, okay? Okay. And, you know, I have tons of gloves at the shop, but, you know, and I even thought I had gloves in my garage, in my storage, and I didn't. But I said, you know what, we still need this color, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So what I'm doing in the back, and honestly, I can't see, but I can feel that I am, is it okay? Did I do it all right? I can feel that it's going on my scalp. What you want to do is, as I'm parting it, I'll turn around and show you. You want to make sure that you're swiping big. You know what I mean? Make sure you're swiping big back there. We're going to blend it all. Don't worry. I have a client who, she moved to Florida, and I said, oh my goodness, how is your hair? She said, it's great in the front. She said, I can't see the back to do the back. But that has never stopped me from doing the back. It's never stopped me. I think we're still okay. I'm thorough, and I understand that if, most times people don't see the back, but honey, on a windy day, I don't know what kind of hairstyle you have, but okay, so we've met up with the front. Now we're going to do this back quadrant. And big strokes. And it's okay to do big parts. You don't have to do small parts. And I'll tell you, my sink is clean too, because when I pick up the color, I'm not just picking up and going up. I pick up the color and do this, because I'm telling y'all, there's no reason to have a messy bathroom when doing this. You can have a clean space while doing this, a neat space. And I've had my clients who I'll do their color, their single process all the time, and they'll tell me, they'll say like, I don't do it at home because it's too messy. Well, I understand, and I love treating my clients. But for those who do choose to do it at home, I'm here for you. And I'm glad to show you how to do it neatly and not create a mess. Okay. Make sure you get around the ears really well. And the back. This was all 40 grams of color, half a tube. You don't need a whole tube. One tube should do you just right. Okay? One tube should do you right for two root touch-up applications. This isn't pulling the hair through. I'm going to just come back and kind of cross my part because I have a little color and I don't like to waste anything. My hair feels so soft like cotton. Okay, we used everything. Nothing wasted. I am going to wash my hands right away. Notice I don't have anything on my shirt, dripping, none of that. Wash your hands right away. It's like after painting, when you have a painter painting a canvas, you know? Okay. Oh, here we go. I have paper towel. Here we go. Okay. So, look, there we go. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, because remember, we did larger partings, right? So this is how we blend everything. Take a plastic bag. This is a plastic bag. Or cling wrap. But plastic bag is better. Cling wrap might cling too much. And what we're going to do is I'm turning it inside out where the ink is less. Putting it over my head, and now I'm going to massage the scalp and make sure that it melts and blends onto the areas that I may have missed while doing my application. okay? Make sure you get around the ears, middle, back, especially the back, where we couldn't see. Okay. Take it off, fold it up, and then we're gonna throw it out. Okay, you shouldn't have any excess color on your hands. I did remember a cap. Now, the directions for Veda is 45 minutes for gray coverage. I already know, but you know, that's for, I guess, normal density. I have fine hair. I've already tested it out. I only need 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, I will shampoo this and condition and style. So I'm just wiping my hairline. I should have showed you before, but you see a little color there. Yeah, you see some here. I'm just wiping it away, and that oil, that hairline oil, the oil that we put on our hairline, it's helping me wipe it away. Wipe it away before your full processing time begins, okay? Don't leave anything on there. Okay, so there you have a clean application. I hope this has helped. And before I forget, I wanted to add about what do we do with the rest of the hair? Why aren't we pulling it through? Well, this was only a root touch-up, and you really, you know, examine your color. If you feel like your color is dull or lighter at the ends and you want to pull through color, here's the deal. There are two ways of doing it, but only one way that I prefer. One way is the last, I would say, 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. You dampen your hair and you pull the color through to the ends, but you don't damp it to the point of rinsing it out. You just loosen up the color enough that you can pull it through easily, and then you let it sit for an additional 5 or 10 minutes. They call that emulsifying. Now, I don't prefer that way because I don't like putting permanent color on top of permanent color. Permanent color is designed to change the internal structure, the internal bonds of the hair. So it's too much, it's a strong chemical to use on hair that is already color treated. It can, if you do it too much for too long, it can cause dry and brittle hair. So what I like, if you want to keep the hair soft, supple, and you want to add more shine, after you do permanent on the roots, on the ends, I would use a semi-permanent or a demi-permanent, something that shampoos out or fades out of the hair. At home, I would use either the Aveda's demi-permanent or this is the Clairol's Advanced Gray Solution, the Clairol Beautiful Collection. And I run that through mids to ends, and I see great shine with it. And it's healthier. You're just really putting on a top coating on the hair, and a top coating is usually, it reflects more shine than your permanent colors that are meant to go deeper into the follicle. Okay, so that's what I prefer, and that's what I hope you would do at home. It's an extra step, and you would need gloves for that. That's really difficult to do without gloves and without getting your hands messy. But yeah, so again, Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And we're here to help you tilt your crown, baby, whether it's with your hair or your hat.